Future Brock Lesnar plans have reportedly been revealed. NXT TakeOvers are set to return next month, and a released WWE star is making a return on the indie scene. More on that in just a bit. Right, so first and foremost, well, Andrew's not here. He normally does the news on a Tuesday, but he's off.
Why is the what?
I don't know.
Who?
Andrew.
Wow.
I don't understand why either.
Terrible.
Absolutely
Terrible. Who takes a week off from work?
I know. Who could possibly do that? First of all, the Observer is reporting that future Brock Lesnar plans could possibly have been revealed, and his future opponent, Ross, would likely be Drew McIntyre. Why is that?
That comes after last week's SmackDown, where, of course, Drew McIntyre took on Mustafa Ali during that match. It was a nice back and forth kind of thing. Mustafa was flying around the ring. Drew McIntyre was flying around the ring. Mustafa, I thought, made Drew McIntyre look 10 times more strong than he probably actually is.
Yeah.
He's a strong boy anyway, but even more stronger. And Drew McIntyre finished the match by locking on the Kimura. Now, who else does that move, Jack?
Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, that's probably why they've got the link there.
But the name that also popped in my head was Daniel Puder.
Daniel Puder.
From when he...
He went all New York there. Daniel Puder.
Puder. Daniel Puder. Who infamously locked it in on Kurt Angle back when it was just called the key lock.
A shoot.
Yeah.
Then he broke his arm.
Brock Lesnar also recently in modern history, used it on Cain Velasquez in that match in Saudi Arabia, which kind of went nowhere.
Yeah.
And that could, apparently there's significance in that. I didn't notice it at the time, did you?
No, not at all. I just thought he's struggling to, he wasn't struggling to beat up Ali, was he? He was sort of like struggling, but not really. He missed the Claymore kick, which is crucial because he rarely misses a Claymore kick, and it hits his back a bit more because of the trajectory, and it changes when he doesn't make contact with a chin. So I was just thinking he was digging down deep into his arsenal and pulling out something special to beat Mustafa Ali. But Dave Meltzer here is just speculating, I reckon.
I think he's possibly just. Do you think he's just speculating?
Yeah, of course
he's not even said. But normally when Meltzer's speculating, he sort of ums and ahs. I know this is like in writing rather than. But there was significance. Should we
read the sentence out as if it was verbatim? There was significance in Drew McIntyre using the Kimura. I just think it's because he's got a Scottish accent, and the Kimura is a very nice word to say with a Scottish accent. Kimura. It's like Fraser upstairs wanting a curly or warley.
that was the best. That was the highlight of my week when he wanted a curly whirly. Now over to NXT 2.0.
We should mention as well, it's a bit of a shock that Brock isn't going back after Roman. After he was screwed in Saudi Arabia.
That's very true, yeah. Yeah, hang on. Why?
How far into the future are these plans, Dave? Huh?
Or are they just kind of maybe putting the Brock feud on the back burners until the road to WrestleMania?
Is he snowed in on the farm until winter's over?
Possibly.
This is what tied him over.
He got suspended, didn't he? So they've got an excuse to he can stay home for however long he wants. Now moving over to NXT 2.0, because the first NXT 2.0 TakeOver event is reportedly scheduled for next month. The tentative date is meant to be Sunday, December 5th, according to Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics. But there's no confirmation that it will use the TakeOver name. So what do you think? What do you think they'll call it?
It's got to use the TakeOver name. It's tradition. This should be called Our Evolution 2.
Was that the Arrival?
Arrival.
Oh, Arrival wasn't.
Oh yeah, Arrival on the network, wasn't it? Yeah, that was on a Wednesday, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
I can't remember that far back. I can't remember yesterday. Never mind 6-7 years ago.
I wonder how much, not only perhaps in terms of name, but thematically, how much these might differ from your standard TakeOver. Because even when NXT, I feel, was losing steam from the lofty heights of 2016, 2017, there was a good chance that TakeOver events would still be really solid.
Yeah.
Will they still be?
I don't know.
No, me neither.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because we're still getting to know these new names.
Joe Gacy.
Von Wagner's a bit weird, isn't he?
Von Wagner. Well, he took Kyle camping in the woods.
As you do.
Now they're friends, yeah.
I'm just a bit out there. I'm a bit out there too.
Who's got your back? Wagner's got your back. I'm shocked as well, heading into it, that Bron Breakker isn't the first new NXT champion of this new era.
I reckon he's going to the main roster. He's getting not dark matches, house show matches, live event matches over here in the UK, isn't he? Triple threat matches for the NXT title with Tommaso Ciampa, and I swear it's Sami Zayn. And Tom mentioned it yesterday on the news. I swear it's Ciampa versus Breakker versus Zayn for the NXT title over here in England this week.
If they need someone to fill in, Sami Zayn, they might have realised, oh no, who takes the pinfall here?
Yeah.
That would make sense. They can always write in Zayn on a house show saying, I want to go back for the... I can see that happening. AEW are planning a Saturday TV special for January 8th, 2022, according to Andrew Zarian of Mat Men. They were going to possibly originally call it Clash of the Champions, but obviously WWE have taken Clash of the Champions. So now they're considering it being called Battle of the Belts, which I think is a fine substitute.
It's a fantastic name. Lovely bit of onomatopoeia, alliteration. I don't know if it's onomatopoeia. I forgot what that word means.
Onomatopoeia is when the drip, like the word sounds like the noise that it makes. Yeah.
It's not black. No, it's not onomatopoeia.
Belts.
Belts.
When two belts clap. No.
I just hope it's a competition where Hangman Page has a big belt buckle on, fills his pockets. Does his pants stay up, or do they fall down?
And that's the battle.
That's the battle of the
between
belts.
Hangman and the belts.
Yeah, and the Bucks will be there with their the tracksuit bottoms. They've got the pull drawstrings, haven't they?
Yeah.
So that's a severe disadvantage for me in the battle of the belts.
That's almost. I can tell they're heels because that's an affront to. That's not a belt.
I should mention, by the way, I saw this on the internet yesterday. That's got some significance to a thing that happened in the past that I should have written down, but we didn't this morning.
Oh. It's got some significance to...
We're really professional here at Cultaholic Wrestling.
Can you remember any...
No, I just remember the logo was like a blue background with a red letter on.
Okay, fair enough.
So there you go.
Maybe more news will come out to link those two things, the thing we've just talked about and the thing that we can't remember in due course. Now, crossing back over the divide to WWE territory, because according to the WWE Network news... According to news on the WWE Network, Jeff Hardy is supposed to be the next guest on the Broken Skull Sessions. That's set to debut on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November 25th, on Peacock and the WWE Network. Jeff Hardy, I hope Austin... Because I'm sure Jeff Hardy's got a million interesting stories to tell, but I just hope that Steve can coax them out of him.
I reckon Steve and Jeff get on like a house on fire for back in the day. I reckon Jeff was like Steve's weird... little stepson backstage.
I was going to say it's quite an age gap.
Yeah, not a real man's man.
No.
But, he did some hardcore things, therefore he had Steve's respect.
I didn't think Steve respected him.
Steve didn't agree with the multicoloured hair, but Steve liked Jeff, I reckon.
Fair enough, because all I can think is when Steve interviewed hardcore man Dean Ambrose, and that was famously the most awkward segment, the most awkward edition of the Broken Skulls sessions.
Wasn't that down to whoever did the prep for Steve didn't tell Steve not to ask John about his childhood?
And he did.
And he asked John about his childhood and John got a bit pissy.
Yeah,
as you probably would if you requested not to ask.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. But no, I reckon they must... I mean, they've known each other for about 20 years now.
They're always fantastic, those things. And obviously Steve likes to have a drink on there, so hopefully he just doesn't this time.
Yeah.
Let's not go back to SmackDown from the summer of 2020.
I suppose you're right. In other dark news, I suppose. PW Insider reporting the sad news that Matt Tremont was admitted to a burn ward yesterday at a New Jersey hospital after his main event match at H2O Destiny. Not a promotion I'm familiar with, H2O, but they had a legendary sort of death match between Matt Tremont and the infamous Atsushi Onita. That was streamed live at IWTV.live. And the finish of the bout saw Onita light a barbed wire board on fire and then put Tremont into it. Tremont's gear was burning as he came off before the bump put the fire out, and then Onita pinned him. Now, initially, it didn't seem as though anything was gravely wrong, but the report here states that once Tremont, kind of the adrenaline wore off following the match, he realised he was in increasing amounts of pain and got taken to hospital. So needless to say, our best wishes go to Matt Tremont. Hopefully he gets well soon. Bit of a sad ending to that one because it would be considered... I'm not a big deathmatch connoisseur, but I think given the names involved, that would be considered a bit of a dream match in the deathmatch world.
Bucket list kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So that is a big shame, and hopefully he's all right. And finally, let's end on a bit of brighter news, because former NXT star Leon Ruffin, who I can only assume was Leon Ruff in NXT, is set to make his GCW debut on November 12th at the Evil Deeds event in Detroit, airing on Fight TV. So many people get released that I think I forgot that Leon Ruff had been released, and that's a massive shame because I thought he was quite a little highlight on NXT. Actually.
Yeah, his work on the ropes. He was like the slightly lesser Grand Metalik.
Yeah.
Grand Metalik is the king of the ropes. Leon Ruff, or Ruffin, is the prince of the ropes.
Yes.
There you go.
I think he's got a lot of potential. I mean, the gimmick for him in NXT wasn't it that he was just kind of out of his depth and he won a belt, and it was like, well, so maybe on the indie scene when it's on a bit more of an even playing field and he's not clearly the indie man. I think it could go really well for him, so hopefully it does.
He was given towards the end of his NXT run, if I remember correctly, he was given more of a chance to show how good he was at the wrestling. It wasn't just all, oh, this man is small. Isn't it funny how the belt, when it's round his waist, doesn't fit?
Oh yeah,
he's so
that didn't help him. Yeah.
So he did get the chance to show what he was about towards the end of it, but hopefully he gets more just to do the wrestling very well.
So that is on GCW's Evil Deeds event on November 12th in Detroit and on Fight TV. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully there's a bit more news later on. We've got about half of the news video.
Yeah.
Just scouring for more news as we speak.
Such big breaking news later.
That can't wait.
Someone's got another name.
Someone's got a name.
Added to a name.
There's been a name change.
It's flip reversed from the norm on the news here.
So look out for that. And thanks very much for watching this one. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And we'll hopefully see you very soon.